Hintergründe, Menschen, Unterhaltung. Hoodie Plays Resurrection, der Interview-Podcast. Live mit dem Mann unter der Kapuze. Hoodie Plays Resurrection. Im Studio Olli.
Hello guys, hi folks, welcome. Here's Hoodie Plays Resurrection, Light and Hope, the guiding light, and the Springfield story podcast. How are you guys? So strange times, you know. That so many times ago I released an episode from here for English viewer and German viewer. This is just English interview. So thank you for watching and thank you for tuning in. Yeah, we're Saturday and it's really great times, you know, and I hope you very well. So this is episode 2 from Light and Hope podcast, and I have the amazing Tina Sloan, aka Lillian Raines, here on my podcast. It was a really great interview. We have talked so much great memories and shared so many personal things, and that is really great, guys. And I hope you enjoy the interview, and it is really great, yeah. And I'm so proud. It was an honor to meet her. I met her for a long time ago, and on this point, thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. Thank you for following me and my crew on Instagram. That means a lot to us, and that's really great. So yeah, we talk 1 hour live from New York, from home, from Tina. It was really touchful, and hope you guys will like it. When you like it, don't forget to subscribe or give you a like for the podcast. And yeah, and I will next year make this new podcast on the show, I promise. But Hoodie Plays Resurrection is just reviews all 3 months, 2 months. So now enjoy it and see you later. Here we go, folks. It's Monday, 15 in November this year, and this is the Light and Hope podcast from my Guiding Light Spinoff podcast. And it's an honor to have this amazing person here by me, and looking forward to meet her since I was young, very young. And he is Tina Sloan, aka Lillian Raines from Guiding Light, the Springfield story. Welcome. Hello.
Hello, Ollie.
How are you doing? Yeah,
great.
Yeah. It's great to see you and looking forward to meet you. And thank you for following my podcast crew on Instagram. Well, thank you, by the way. That's
of course. I like following.
Yeah, well, thank you. Before we talk Guiding Light, of course, you're an actress and you have so much experience in your life with Guiding Light and other things, theater and something. Was this for you the first wish to become an actress, or have you another wish to make a job in?
Oh no, I wanted to be an actress very much, very much, and I started doing commercials, you know, for hair products and skin and teeth and everything you could think of.
Yeah.
And I did that for many years, and then I thought, gee, I have to run around and audition, and so I thought, gee, it'd be fun to be on a soap opera. So I had my agent, who was making a lot of money because I was making a lot of commercials, send me up for a soap, and I was on something called Somerset. Did you ever see that, Ollie?
I knew that name. Yeah, I knew that name. The name.
It was not on very long, but it was one of the best show. It was the best show. I played a villainous woman, and I really
villain.
Yeah. It was so fun. Oh, I loved her. She was wonderful.
Wow.
And he wanted me to just go on, and then I went to Search for Tomorrow, and then Another World, and then Guiding Light, where I stayed for nearly 30 years.
That's incredible long, a lifetime. I mean, yeah. You have a lifetime with Lillian.
Yeah, I know her very well.
yeah, that's true. And you say you made a commercial, just like for skin or hair, or more, or just.
Oh, I must have made hundreds and hundreds of them. I did it for dishwashing liquid or hand cream or you name it. I did it. I mean, Minute Rice, Windex, to clean your windows. I was a mommy with Pampers. I did Diet Coke. I did Diet Pepsi. I did.
Wow.
I literally did hundreds and hundreds
Yeah.
of commercials.
A long list, by the way. That's awesome. Really,
It's
that's
very
really,
long.
yeah, it's really great to hear. Wow, well, and when Guiding Light air on the TV, they made after the intro just a soap commercial.
Yes, and that's why it's called a soap opera.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
Why they're called soap.
yeah. And it amazed me all the time when I watched the intro and there came then so much commercial from soap, from just a thing, or rice, or for cooking stuff. Wow, it's really different commercial all the time. It's really amazing, amazed me all the time. And I love by Guiding Light the closing credits and the voice and all the music. Wow, it is so great feeling. Yeah. And before you joined Guiding Light, was this for you crystal clear to stay so long in this soap opera?
Oh, no. I didn't. I mean, I wanted to, because if you're an actress and you live in New York, I did do Law and Order, and I did a lot of movies while I was on Guiding Light. I played Ben Affleck's mother. I worked with Al Pacino. I worked with very big, a couple of Woody Allen movies, and I had a wonderful time. But they were, that was 2 days of work. Being a soap actress was a career. You work every day or most every day for almost all year, for year in, year out, for me, almost 30 years. So you just had a job, and it was a wonderful thing to have as an actress. And I just love doing it.
Yeah, of course. You have so great storylines in Guiding Light, and so much, you have so much storylines that you get through and experience. Would you say, is this all in storyline, or is there more storyline when Guiding Light still exists anymore? If you play all storylines, or is there more storylines to play?
Well, there certainly would be lots more if they wanted. I mean, there are always storylines about marriage, and I had just got married at the end of the show, if that's what you're talking about. The way we did the rape of Beth, the way we did my breast cancer story. We were going to do a drug addiction for kids story when it went off the air, and that was really too bad, because I think that was an important thing to do.
Yeah,
I think
really.
A lot of what we did was really, really important. And I was so grateful to be able to be part of these interesting storylines. Some were crazy.
Yeah.
The one where Reva went back to a child and then grew up again, or whatever that was and it was hard for her to do. I remember she'd come in and she'd have to do this very difficult storyline, and we'd all be laughing because it was so ridiculous. And she would say, "Hey, I have to do it, so you can't laugh." And everybody laughed. I mean, we couldn't help it.
Yeah.
And I remember one day my daughter Beth had to go into a cabin and knock with a bat and knock out Roger and one of her boyfriends and tie them up. And there was no reason she did it at all. That was the story, and she had to do it. And she said, "I have no idea why I'm doing this." And the next day they never talked about it again. There were some crazy things that happened, but it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you say that you play with Roger and all the other best characters in this area, Charita Bauer. And how was this for you guys to lose her? Denise told me it was a huge fan letters and baggage for her.
She was the star of the show. She was the backbone of the show for a long, long time, Charita. I didn't work with her long because I came on as she was going off. When the producers change, they change everything. And Charita was dying. She was very sick.
Yeah.
She came to the show to visit. And I think you could tell how frail she was. I didn't know her the way, I'm trying to think who did know her. Well, Roger and a few other people, but the show changed with their characters a great deal around 80, 83 when I came on. They changed totally.
Yeah.
And so none of us really knew her the way we would have if we'd come on 10 years earlier.
Yeah, that's true. You made a few episodes with her. I sent you a screenshot, remember? And on
You
Twitter,
did, yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's really great. This was a great scene you play together in German. You have a great German voice, by the way. And I will send you the next few days some few German episodes with you. They can watch it when you want, so you can hear you.
And the person who dubs me in German you like her voice?
Yeah, of course, really, really.
Well, sometimes, I mean, my Italian dubatrice, as she's called, I mean, I have a very deep voice and she has a very high voice. And it just, I liked it, but I'd look at it and I think that just doesn't sound like Lillian should sound.
Yeah,
She made she was so glad that I stayed on so long because she had a career too, dubbing me every day.
yeah, for many years, yeah. Guiding Light runs here from since the 80s to 1999, and it was ended. And we here in Germany was 8 years behind the episodes, and here arrived the episodes from 1970. Sorry, just a moment. I must say it again. 1979 to 1992. So you're 30, so, and after that is go away from the TV, this long time ago. So, yeah, 20 years, the last episode he arrived in Germany. That's really,
Wow.
yeah, really long time.
I remember being in Frankfurt about 30 to 35 years ago, and people loved Guiding Light then.
Yeah, you told me you was in Germany. It was for you a new experience to have German fans.
But my husband and I have many German friends. So we've been to Hamburg and we've been in many parts of Germany. It's a beautiful country. Munich and I'm trying to think. We stayed in
Dortmund, Düsseldorf, Cologne.
Right, Dusseldorf. We had very good friends in Dusseldorf, and we stayed with them. So we've been there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I lived outside of Zurich one summer, and so I can speak a little Schweizerdeutsch.
Ah, that's interesting. Schweizerdeutsch. It's interesting.
I can say Grüezi miteinander, which means hello. And and go to the Schwimmbad, which was the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And I had a lovely summer there when we'd get in the car every weekend and we'd drive somewhere. But I stayed in a little tiny village called Sulz-Reckenbach, which was right on the border, I think. But it's outside of Zurich because my husband was working for Winterthur Unfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The insurance.
Yeah. Wow.
So I know Switzerland. I mean, I know a little bit of German.
Wow, that's amazing, really. It's really amazing that you are in Germany. That makes me proud, really. That Guiding Light actress hier in Germany. That's really great.
Well, that was well before I was on Guiding Light. That was when I was young and doing commercials. And
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, and here the show ended with our marriage, I believe. It was the last episode. I don't know their names, but yeah, it was the marriage end. And May 1992 was the next episode. Did not arrive here. We ended on 1 month before April.
Right.
And after that, I have a break 2 years and watch later 1995. Yeah. Then a friend sent me VHS tapes and then DVDs, so to watch. I watched Guiding Light, but I was a little behind. But on the end, I watch too slow, and then it's fast, to watch the end. And for me was the end. Yeah, that's okay. You guys all break up to go away from Springfield, and it was okay. But for me, it was so. Can Guiding Light really ending? I believe that not. There's not really a real ending, because you guys can live further, when you're not cancelled. I believe there's many story to tell, and
Oh, yes, you can make up, I mean, I could make up 20 right now. Everybody could have a wonderful story. But they had to end it because they took us off the air. Procter and Gamble was really, well, CBS took us off because they put on a talk show. And the head of the talk show was the president of CBS's wife. So, you know, and when I heard we were going off, I had a feeling that's what was going to happen. And it's what happened. She wanted to have a talk show. And she got it, and we were gone. And it cost them nothing to do a talk show, and it cost a great deal of money. I think it was 180 million a year to do a soap. And one of our producer tried to make it less money. She had us work outside in New Jersey, where we didn't have to build sets and pay for the studio. And she did all she could to keep it on. She kept it on another year, but the fans didn't like that, the way it looked then. They really were sort of depressed by it. And so we lost a lot of fans, unfortunately, at the end.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, I think
I heard that too. Yeah, yeah, many fans you lost. Yeah, I heard it too. Yeah.
but she was trying. You know, people said, "Oh, how could she have done it?" And I said, "Hey, she did what she could do to try to keep us on the air, and that was pretty important."
I have a question for you, a fan question actually. How was the violence relationship storyline for you? Tell us the background and how you feel when you play the storyline.
Which storyline?
The violent storyline with your
The
husband.
violence? Oh, you mean where he raped my daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. It was just awful to play it. But I will tell you a sort of interesting thing is when they had written it that I would find out and kill him, and then I'd go to jail. And I went up to the producer, and I never do these things, but I said, "Look, if any little girl goes and won't go, no little girl will go tell her mother what happened, what her father did to her, or her brother, or her stepbrother, if mommy's going to go to jail and she has no daddy and no mommy." And they listened. So they did a very nice thing, and they had us put him in jail, and we went to rape crisis therapy. But doing it was just very difficult. And poor Bradley, the man who played it, was the nicest man.
All right. Oh, wow.
He was and he had two daughters, and he would get sick to his stomach. He was so upset that he had to play this, and he'd go into the men's room and get sick before he had to do the scenes. And it was very, very hard on him. He died maybe 10 years ago, and I went to his funeral, and his wife and I talked about how hard that was for him to do. And he became a pretty big movie star after that, always playing villains, unfortunately. But he was just the kindest, sweetest man, and it was a very hard thing for all of us to do, as you can imagine, to have to, well, I hated having to pretend I didn't know, to be that wife. But when I was hired, they hired me because they wanted someone strong to play someone weak, and Lillian was weak. So, and I am strong, so they wanted that part of Lillian, something else to show through. So she just didn't walk around going, oh, you know, she was grounded more than a weak person would be. But to play it, Beth and I have talked about the first Beth, Judy Evans.
Yeah, Judy Evans, you're right. Yeah.
And it was really hard for her too, but she was wonderful at doing it. And Bradley was too. And I was stupid. I mean, you know, I just pretended it was, I didn't know it was happening. And I think, I mean, we studied a lot of incest stories, and sometimes the mother knows, but she doesn't want to know, so she pretends she doesn't know. And sometimes she needs her husband to support her. Well, that's not true in this case because I was working, or she loves him, which I don't know if Lillian really loved him. I don't think she did. I think she sort of married him because Beth's father had died in the war, and she wanted someone to help her raise Beth. That was not a good choice. But all I can say is we cried when we did it. We just, you know, we finished the scenes, and we just, you know, I'd go home a mess, and Judy was better, Evans, than the rest of us because she was much younger. I don't think she knew quite what it meant. She was really quite a child when she came on the show. I remember she'd come to my house, and my son was about 3 or 5, and she'd get on his tricycle and ride it around the house. And she was like a little girl.
Wow.
I think her family were in the circus, and there was something of the circus with her too. She was just so charming, or she still is. She's a lovely, lovely woman. But she's all grown up now. She's probably 60. I bet she is.
Mm.
At least, maybe older. And she, she did it so well. She won an Emmy for doing it, and it was the first time anyone ever had touched it. And I'd get mail from people saying, thank you so much. I was being molested by my brother, my stepbrother, my stepfather, my uncle. And I didn't know what to do until I saw the show, and I saw that you could get through it and tell your family or tell your mother or somebody, a teacher. Mm-hmm. And they were so grateful for that storyline. I think it really helped people a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Because your storylines in Guiding Light was always special, and you stand for this, and you made a sign, and to show people a way out from the situation, right. Or and this was for me all the thing what I think when I watch Guiding Light. You guys show me a way how I can do this or I cannot do that. I made the right choice or the wrong choice.
Right.
And that is that's really important. That's the important part from you guys, that you show us the people there's a way out. There's a way out, and to when you call somebody for help, a friend, a mother, or something, and that was the important part on you guys.
No, I think that's right. I remember I got a letter from a girl saying I was about to kill myself, and I didn't, because I thought if Beth can go through this, I can go through this. I mean, really. And I still hear from this woman. She still writes me every now and then, and I think it's one of the great things that TV does, or soap operas do, because you watch them every day and you get to know people, and you realize that you can live through these things, and we don't answer it in one show or 1 hour. It takes a year or a month or 5 months or whatever to work it out, and that's very important, isn't it? Because it's like real life.
Yeah, it's true. Vincent said to me in a cameo video too, that he is so thankful for me that I watched you guys every day, every month, to live with you guys by side, and to guys bringing my home, he said to me, and that's really, really nice. And Vincent made me so great videos, 5 minutes actually, and he told me so much background about Lou Jack, and I'm so thankful for him. And he's so thankful for me, and I'm so blessed, And I ordered from Crystal some videos too, and she's so kind to me, and she's so thankful to me too, and she enjoyed to talk to me, and that's I cannot believe it, in the first time, and she appreciated me and you too and the others, and that's really made me proud,
You know that Crystal has a show. Do you know her show?
Of course, I watch all from her. I don't.
Okay. So you've seen me do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
When
and it's wonderful.
When is the series?
Again.
Yeah. She made a series for you guys. That's incredible, and you guys can still stay together and not apart. So that's really amazing. And Vanish are really, really great, and on the other things she made are too great, really.
Yeah.
But
everything she's done has been terrific.
Yeah, and that is for me. Vanish the series is just a Guiding Light 3.0. So just a little Guiding Light. You show Vanish the series is for me a little Guiding Light. But other character names, but it's for me still. Yes, familiar feeling, when I saw you, Robert, Kim. Robert and Kim, I loved them both forever, It was this couple on Guiding Light, And you too, you have a great relationship to Reva's father, and this was really great when you act with him. And that is my and that is my next question. It is really hard for you. You stay so long, and you lost so many cast members. Roger is gone, and Alan Spaulding, and Reva's father gone. How is this for you? You play with the guys so long, and you lost them in a day. And how is this for you?
I mean, when they died in real life, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's awful. I mean, Bradley, and of course it's awful. I mean, you know, you're just in a state of shock. But some of the older actors, maybe you didn't see them, they died, and you sort of, you know, it's life. I mean, it is life. These people are dying. Roger Thorpe, I mean, that was terrible when he died. I mean, because he had that awful disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, and it was, you know, it was hard to see what he was becoming, and it was hard for him. You know, it was hard to see what he was, and I noticed in the beginning he was talking very like a British accent, and now I realize he couldn't say his words correctly, so he used that as a way to talk more slowly.
More slowly, yeah.
Not to slur his words. And I remember Paul Rausch saying to him, why are you talking like this? What are you doing? And I said, yeah, what are you doing? You know, nobody knew he was sick, and he didn't want people to know. And then obviously we found out later on why he was doing it. But I think he should have said, look, I've got a problem, and this is what it is, and this is my way of coping. I don't know. Maybe I could, maybe I wouldn't have either. Who knows what you do if you're living that, if you have that horrible disease in front of your life. It'd be awful, so scary.
Yeah, of course. Roger was a great character, and he is as person in real life was great too. Yeah, and the Alan Spaulding, the first was great, but the second one I love too. Ron Raines was a great recast. Perfect.
He was a good recast, yeah. Well, they were very different, weren't they? I mean, the first Alan Spaulding was very slender and elegant, sort of, and Ron Raines was big and a little more gruff and strong. They seem to be quite different men, but they're both wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. But for me it's not a recast, so it's just like Alan gets older, and that is the older version, you know? So was this for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember the experience on when I saw the recast from Alan, and I say, no, that is not for me the recast, that this is Alan Spaulding in the older years, you know.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. I think, though, that Ron was younger than Alan, much younger than the first Alan Spaulding. So he might not have liked to have been thought of in his older years.
Yeah, but this was familiar for me. The second Alan was familiar feeling. Yeah, that was really familiar, I must say. And how was this for you when a castmate passed away? Have you guys time to progress it, or you must continue further shooting this episode, or give you the producer time to progress some days?
No, we would keep shooting, and I mean, you know, we'd all go to a funeral if there was a funeral. But you know, life happened on that show so fast. I mean, we did Christmas early. We did it in November, and then we had our real life Christmas. So when someone died, you know, they would have left the show before then. You know, they would have left a while before, when they found out they were sick or something. So we didn't have someone die right as they were working, if that makes sense. So we didn't, you know, there was no surprise. We knew so-and-so was sick, but I mean, you know, it was awful. Of course it was awful. Nobody wants to see your friends die. I'm trying to think. I mean, really, no one in the Raines family. Well, Bradley died, and that was, I don't know, as I said, I went to his funeral, and he hadn't been on the show in 15, 20 years, but I just adored him, and he had been such a fine actor. And Ron, we all went to Michael Zaslow's funeral too. I think they closed the show down so we could all go. Well, I know we went. That's all I know. I don't know. It's such an interesting question, Ollie. I'll have to really think about it. You're so busy. And that I don't know. I mean, you know, you miss the person and you'd think, why aren't they here? I miss him. But you were used to people leaving and coming back too. I mean, like Philip would leave and then he'd come back, and then he'd leave and he'd come back, and Beth would leave and come back. And Michael, they all would sort of leave and come back again. most people did leave and go to California and try to, quote, make it. And then if they didn't, then they decided they either didn't like California or they hadn't done what they wanted to do, and they'd come back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know Maeve, when her father, Bill Rourke, died, Maeve Kincaid, when her father died, she was just devastated because she'd worked with him all the time. And he was her father. I suppose we were so devastated, and we'd go to funerals, but we knew usually that the person was really sick. So there was no surprise. Bill Rourke was a surprise. He had a car accident, went into a tree. So that stunned everybody,
Yeah. Would you say is the best way to progress it to shoot the episodes further, or have you, when you look back, you wish you time for progress it? Because some actors say to shoot further the episode is the best way to progress a lost,
Yeah. And I know at the end of an episode of somebody, we just found out somebody had died, they'd always put a big plaque saying, in memory of Bill Rourke or in memory of whoever, Hawk Shane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Hawk, yeah. Yeah, really, really. Yeah, I read the news about it and say, oh no, no, that is terrible, terrible.
Surprised.
Yeah.
Just surprised.
Yeah, unexpected when you asked me.
That's the kind, because you're not seeing him, so you don't know that he's left. And he and I did a wonderful movie about getting older. One of the editors on Guiding Light wrote and produced, and I think it should take off. It's a wonderful, wonderful short. It's a short movie. And he was so good in that. He was so gentle and different than he had, on the show, he had to play this rough, buff guy.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he was just sort of gentle and sweet and sad because he recognized that he was getting older and it was hard for him. So he was I loved him like that. I really did. I liked him more as a character because it was more true to who he was, a really lovely man.
Yeah. Of course. I think you're all nice people and lovely people. To all of you.
That's Ali. People would come on the show, the extras. You know what I mean by an extra? Somebody who comes on for the day and just is a nurse in the hospital or is eating at a restaurant or something.
Yeah.
And they'd say, "Guiding Light, of all the shows we work on, every actor here is so welcoming and makes us feel wonderful." And I always thought that was a lovely thing to know.
Yeah, that's really true. And do you know that the producer from Guiding Lights say that not came out on DVD or something? They destroyed the tapes, The CBS told us many years before.
Yeah.
And for me, this is terrible, Tina, because all the work from you guys in all these long years, it seems like for nothing when they destroy the tapes.
Yeah. They did. I remember that. They were in a place, it was a sort of, not a vault, but they were in a place and then they just destroyed them all. It was just, I agree with you. People say all the time, why don't you have reruns? And I said, because we don't have any tapes. Although I have lots of DVDs from the end of the show. Somebody sent me all the end of the show, the last 6 or 8 months. And to be honest with you, I haven't looked at them because it was so devastating to have the show end that I cried. We all cried for weeks, just months, because it was like our whole family had died. It's like a tornado came in and took everybody away.
Yeah, so, I understand what you say. Crystal said to me in a video too, you're all shocking. And you told the producer before the show ended, a few episodes left, and they told you guys it's ended. Crystal said it to me. And she says she was shocking. You're all shocking. You not realize that my friends is gone, my set is gone, my husband is gone, and she said you was all so shocking. You're shocking.
Yeah. Well, we were told we knew while we were going out or I guessed that we were going out to New Jersey to save money, and I knew therefore we were very questionable. The fact that I thought it was very likely we could go off, and we all thought it, but we didn't believe it. We didn't want to believe it. So we pretended it wasn't happening, I guess.
Yeah. And how was this for you personally when you heard from the show is ended after so long time? What's your first feeling? Your first feeling?
You know, I had been at the theater and I came out of the theater and my phone was ringing and I picked it up and it was Ellen Wheeler, our producer, and she said, "Tina, we've been stopped. We've been ended."
Oh.
I was walking across Times Square and I'm thinking, she can't. It was April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an April Fool's joke. And I was just so stunned. I don't think I could talk. And I said to a friend of mine who I've been to the theater with, I said, they just ended Guiding Light, our life, my life. So, I mean, all I know is the last few weeks, we just cried a lot. And the last day, it was just, the last day we taped was not the last show you saw.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we taped that earlier. The last show we taped, I had the last line, and my line was, "Aren't we lucky to have had each other?" And I mean, I couldn't get it out. I couldn't say it. And it wasn't supposed to be, I was supposed to be in my nurse's uniform talking to someone, but not serious. And I kept crying. So I never held the show up. Finally, I got the line out. I didn't do it too well because I said it 18 times in tears. And then they called each person out and how long they'd been on the show in order. And I was the last because I was on the longest. And we all were just sobbing. I mean, everybody was just, all the crew and the wardrobe. I mean, and it wasn't that we were out of a job. It was just that we loved each other. We really loved each other.
Yeah, and you lost something, your family. It feels like.
Yeah, it's like one of those huge hurricanes that goes through and wipes everybody out. We were all sort of wiped out from each other. And it was so sad, Ollie. You're so sweet to ask this. But I have a couple of, I should send you this. Somebody sent me Lily Buzz, a lot of Lillian and Buzz. And you can see where we just had found out because I'm crying. I'm not supposed to be crying, but I'm crying. And even Justin Dietz, who, is very strong, his eyes are full of tears. We lost each other. You're right.
You lost your family, second family. After your real life family. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you don't see your real life family half as much as you saw your soap opera family.
Yeah.
You spend all day with your soap opera family. You come home and see your husband or kids for a little bit of time, but not as much as you'd spent the day with Beth and Justin or whoever you were in love with or married to or your best friend.
And when the producer told you that the show is ended, have you guys meeting after you have the news that the show ended? Have you guys meeting to tell?
Well,
also
we had to work together. No, I don't remember a meeting. She just called us all and told us. And I'm sure we all were on the phone all day with each other. I just remember being in such a state of shock. And then when we went into work, we asked, how long do we have? And she said, another 2 weeks or another week or something. And they had to rewrite the show because they were going ahead, as you said, with plot lines, different plots. And as I said, they were going to do one about kids getting into drugs in their parents' medicine cabinet because kids would use the medicines their parents had as drugs, and it was becoming a real problem. So that was the storyline I knew I was going to be doing. And we just had to change it and just sort of get everybody married. They married Maeve and Billy and Justin and me, Buzz and myself. And they got Reva and Josh together. And they just brought back everybody from the old days, and they had Kimberly or Beth and Philip and Kim and Michael. Not Kim Sim. They got the other one.
Yeah.
And everyone was happy together, and we all had to just pretend everything was wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm really sure that lost the castmate from the play Alexandra Spaulding. It's really hard,
Awful.
Yeah,
that was awful.
She was a great person. She was a great person. I never met her, but I think she was a great person. I think right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she was about the best of the best. I just adored her. And we both had only one child, a son. So we'd talk about how we adored our sons. And she died so young. I mean, she really did. She died. She left the show, went to California to be with her son and his grandchildren, her grandchildren. And she died pretty soon after that. Maybe I've often thought she knew she was sick, and that's why she left and why she went out there. Because she just announced to us all, hey, this is my last show. And I remember everyone going, what?
Whoa.
Nobody knew. And I don't think the producers knew. I think she knew she had a vacation coming for a month or whatever. And her contract was up. She just wasn't going to sign it. So she said, she stood up in front of everybody. We'd all been in, I don't know what we were doing, but I was there. And she stood up and said, I just want to say goodbye to you all. This is my last show. I'm leaving for California tonight. I mean,
whoa, the shocking.
Well, yeah, but her son, Scott McKenzie, who had been our director for a long time, had moved out there with his wife and kids. And I bet she knew she was sick. I don't have any reason to say that, except it made sense that she'd want to be out there with them if she was sick right then.
Yeah. I remember on her and all the episode with Lou Jack, and wow, when I saw this today, it's for me different. In the past was just fan, but today I saw the person behind Alexandra Spalding. I not saw only Alexandra, I see the person behind, and it's just a different feeling,
And the other, I mean, we're talking about Beverly McKenzie, but then the other one died, as well. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know her as well. I thought she was wonderful, but I'd worked with Alexandra a lot early on in the show. And we would have more fun together. We were so naughty. We just would make things up and be naughty, and it was such fun.
Yeah, really, I remember your scene, that's incredible. All Lou Jack, I remember really clear all the time when I think on the really earlier episode that I watched, and wow, and so much storylines, so much persons,
so
yeah, wonderful. Tell me, what is your best storyline that you play, and what is the worst storyline that you play?
Well, I certainly love doing that breast cancer storyline. I thought that was a wonderful thing to be able to do.
Oh, really? Wow.
I mean, it lasted a year, So I loved being able to alert people. I mean, the mail we got from people who, because of watching, had gone and gotten tested and found out that they had cancer and that therefore were able to take care of it was just unimaginable. So you felt really, really good about that. I hated killing Maureen, of course. I didn't kill her.
Yeah. I understand.
The writers killed her.
Yeah.
But they left me holding it while they did it. And I don't, I mean, there were reasons they had that were fair. I mean, but no one knows that. And I remember when I had to write the letter that was going to go on her kitchen, as though I would go put a letter to Peter in her kitchen, where she would open it and read it. I mean, it was so stupid. To Ed, I mean, her husband. But I did. And when I went to write that letter, it was like Bradley, when he couldn't write Beth, he felt so sick. I would sit down at the desk to write the letter, and I couldn't write it and it was stupid. I knew that it had nothing to do with the show was going to go on. But I also heard how the man who did Lincoln, he couldn't put the bullet noise in. He just couldn't put it in because he knew it would kill Lincoln. And I felt the same way. I couldn't write the letter, which, I mean, we both knew the outcome. He knew it. I knew it. But I just couldn't write it. And Maureen came over to me and said, Tina, for God's sake, write the letter. It's not you, it's the writers. So I had to write this letter that would say, Dear Ed, I'm sorry that we did this. And I mean, it's just insane that I'd write that letter and that I'd put it in her kitchen. I mean, no woman on earth would have done that. But they had to get rid of her. And she was going to drive off that cliff, that snowy mountainside, and die for their reasons, which, who knows why.
Yeah.
Or if you do, you say.
Let me say, for me, was Charita Bauer, the true mother of Guiding Light, when you ask
Yeah,
me.
I think, yes, I think so, Ollie. I think that's right. Well, she was the first.
Yeah, the first, and she holds you guys together.
Yeah,
I had the feeling all the
that's
time.
right.
She
Yeah,
interact with every character, and
yeah, that's right.
and
That's
she
right.
told Josh in the hospital about the wheelchair. She was in a wheelchair. Her and Josh was in a wheelchair, and in a wheelchair, and she told Josh, "You can do this. You can stand up. You can walk again sometime." And this really heartbreaking scene.
Oh, yes,
I remember
yes.
so clear on that,
Yeah,
and that is really wow, wow. When I look back, I saw that really she was the true mother of Guiding Light.
she was. That's right. She really had that power. She was terrific, just
Of
terrific.
course.
And Maureen was wonderful, but people were really upset when Maureen died.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, to this day, some people say to me, I still hate you. I liked you very much, but I hate you for what you did to Maureen. And I go, that was 30 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever it was, you know?
yeah. Have you ever watched the final episode, or is this too heartbreaking for you?
No, I've watched the final episode a lot. Um,
Yeah, we a lot, of course. Oh, whoa,
no, I
whoa.
don't mean a lot. I've seen it. I've seen parts of it, the parts where we're all together, hugging each other. I haven't seen. I didn't like the final episode. We're all on the grass and we're all sort of talking. I just didn't think that was. It just didn't. It didn't ring true. But they had to finish it in one day. So we're all sitting on the grass and the camera goes to each couple. And I remember thinking, this isn't quite right. But
It was a
they had
great
to do
final
it.
scene. Was a great final scene. All
Well, you
three
mean with
guys.
Kim,
Yeah,
when Kim
Kim.
and
Yeah.
oh, that was terrific when they went off. Yeah. Except who was the man? You'll probably know better. I'm blanking on his name. Who she was in love with, whose child it was that she had.
Yeah. The child in the last episode. Yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah,
somebody else's child,
yeah. Remember?
and she. I think he should have come back in some way too, because he was very important and people loved him, and at least made it difficult for Reva to leave with his child and go off into the wilderness.
Yeah, but all the final scene is really really awesome. You guys meeting somewhere and go away from Springfield or hug yourself. It was really touched, and
Yeah.
I remember what the final scene. I remember clearly. You ready?
Hmm.
Always. And they drive away, and then the end.
The end.
And I say to me, no, that can be not the real ending for me.
Oh, no, it can't. Because it'd be fun to go see them and see. Then the other man would have come in and taken the child. I mean, there could have been so many stories, just so many stories. But they're not going to do it.
No, it's really heartbreaking that you guys have cannot do more Guiding Light. I think you guys missed Guiding Light, miss you Guiding Light. Of course, I believe, or miss you the show.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, I think that's very true. I also think that everybody made choices and went on. And like Crystal, I wrote the book. I wrote a play. I wrote another book,
mm,
which is now going to be a movie, I hope. So you get on with your life. It was very, very hard that first few months where I would watch this one not episode, one sort of somebody had sent me vignettes of Justin and Lillian, and I'd watch it and I'd sob, and my husband would know what I was doing, because it was my way to. I mean, I cried for a good few months, I think,
mm,
and I'd watch that, and that would bring out the tears, and then I could get on with doing whatever I had to do that day. But I had to. You had to work it out. It was very hard. That
yeah,
was really hard.
yeah,
I
for sure.
forgot that. I'm going to send you that clip, because you'll see what I'm talking about.
And
You love
Crystal,
all those clips.
yeah, of course. There's so many great
It's
scenes.
so, as Josh said to you, Robert said to you, it's wonderful to know there are people who love that show, that we were doing it for an audience that really appreciated it, and you really appreciate it. You appreciated every nuance. Do you know what I mean by nuance? Every little
Yeah,
thing about it.
yeah, yeah. And I really enjoyed every episode, every second, every hour with you guys. Really.
Thank you.
Oh.
That's wonderful. It makes you so happy when you know that people were reacting like that.
Yeah, Crystal said to me that one thing she always remembers the fans on Guiding Light. She was always remembered the fans from Guiding Light. She said that's the best thing that she happened in her career, to have so much huge fans all over the world,
All over the world. Italy, Germany.
Yeah, even Germany, even Italia. Denise told me in the interview from this podcast in the first episode, she no only Italian dubbing, not Germany, but you know about Germany, and she didn't know about that. And she was
really, and in France,
she was really surprised that when I sent her an email and I told you about Guiding Light in Germany, was say, what, in Germany? I had no idea we are so big in the world. I was only Italian,
Yes.
That's really interesting that she didn't know that, this was really, really, to know, And you tell about your book. This is a great part to go the next question. Before the book, when you finish Guiding Light, take you a vacation or a break, or go to your private life, or made you further?
No, I had written a play, and the day Guiding Light was over. Oh, this was fascinating. You like this. I was doing the play for the first time down in Cape May, New Jersey, where a former producer of ours owned a theater. And Grant Phillip came down, everybody from the show came down to see the play. And, and where I play Lillian in the play, I could not get the words out because we'd just gone off the day before. And I'm trying to get the words out, talking about being Lillian. And everyone Jill Laurie Hurst, all the producers were in the audience, and everyone was crying. You could hear everyone
whoa. That was for you heartbreaking when you hear that, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. And but I was supposed to be upset because I was talking about the end of the show. But it kept me very busy. I think I did it for 2 or 3 nights there. And then I went to Atlanta, where I did it for 2 or 3 weeks and did a lot of TV shows. Mostly the TV shows would ask me about Guiding Light, of course. I was down in there to do the play because when I planned the play, I didn't know Guiding Light was going to be going off. I was taking a vacation to do it. And instead, it was the finale. And, every TV show in Atlanta wanted me to be on because Atlanta was a big Guiding Light place. And they'd say, why did it go off?
I understand what you mean. Yeah. And for you, have you need really long time to realize the show's ended and you not see your family again so soon again?
Well, again, they came to my play a lot. I was down in Atlanta. Beth Chamberlain, my Beth, came to that. Michael O'Leary came to it. Philip Grant Alexander came. Everybody came and supported me in this new project. So I had them still in some sense, but at the same time, they were only there for a night, and then I'd be living my own life. And but I was busy. I fortunately was so lucky. I'd written a book, and the book was about to be published. And so I was lucky and Crystal was lucky too, because she decided to write this Venice, the series, for the group of women. Venice, the series, for the group of women that needed it, and so she had done that, and so that was taking off. She and I had talked earlier when we thought it could go off. We were out in New Jersey one day, and she said to me, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I'm writing a book and a play, so if it does go, I have somewhere to go." And she said, "Yeah, I'm writing something if I need to go somewhere too." So we had planned it in a sense, so we weren't jolted the way a lot of people were who had nothing. They walked off the set and there was nothing. They didn't have anything. I hadn't really known it would go off, but I had written the book, Changing Shoes, going from sexy high heels to black as we get older, as we age.
Yeah.
And then the play, the president of the United States came to see the play, the former president, and his wife. And so, it was a big deal. I did that in Texas, and I did it all over the country. It kept me busy, Ollie. I mean, it allowed me to keep going. That's the only word. I would cry, but I'd still listen to this thing and I'd cry.
Yeah, of course. I understand it totally. You're crying just so long time you stay, and that is over. Just one day, just over all. Yeah.
It's all gone. It's like, I suppose, if you were in love with someone and they just walked out and said, I don't love you anymore, what do? You just don't know what to do. But if you had another boyfriend in the background, which I had with the play, you could have somewhere to go, not that I would ever do that. But you needed somewhere to go, and nobody had really thought that it would go off. So nobody had somewhere to go except Crystal and myself. We were really the only two that had a plan. And then we tried with the producers, some of us, Grant, Philip, Michael, Rick. We tried to do a show together with a couple of producers, and we started fighting. I don't know why we were fighting. I think we were just all like that. But we tried to do a show with the Guiding Light cast, but we couldn't use our names, and we didn't know quite how to do it. And the legalities came in because Procter and Gamble would have maybe sued us or something.
I think it's Erna Phillips. They forbid us. I think when Erna Phillips, the great Guiding Light, and when she died and she written in the testament, no one can use Guiding Light actors or episode. I think that is for her wish. That her work unique to stay unique. We fans talk about a lot that she written in this testament, and say, yeah, it's possible. Maybe it's possible that she want always that the show stay unique, and not go public, and maybe is that the reason too that Guiding Light came never on DVD or something,
I really doubt it. I think those businessmen would have, if they wanted to, would have found a loophole in that, If they would have wanted to make money, it as well as I do. But I don't think any soap operas have got DVDs or anything, I mean, I have to go look at how many I have. I do think I have some. And there are people who do sometimes send you something and you think, I don't even remember doing that show.
Yeah. The most DVDs from soap operas from Bold and the Beautiful, they have only 10 boxes with the first 200 episodes. And this was the only soap opera that have so many DVDs. But, we live in a time of streaming. CBS can take Guiding Light to streaming and make an offer for, for some, and people can pay it for. And I don't know why the producer did this, or CBS,
Right. Well, I told you, we are expensive, and they wanted to do a talk show, which cost them nothing, or very little.
Yeah, that is.
So off we went.
Yeah, that is the time. Only just little stupid thing, not a really great show. Yeah, that's really. Oh, that's really sorry. That is really that is really.
You knocked it over too, Ollie.
Yeah. And and then you made Vanish the series, and Crystal put you all together again.
Yeah, she really did. She did, and she did really well. It goes all over the world. It's in Australia. It's all over, and it's made a lot of people happy. I think she really did it, and she really backs it up. I mean, she does everything. She's terrific.
And that's great that she find a way to bring you all back together. I think you guys deserve it to, still stay together,
Right. Yeah.
After so long,
Well, Michael O'Leary, Rick, did a play with Beth, myself, Philip, and two other people. One, they played, I'm blanking on their names because I didn't know them really well. But he had about 6 Guiding Light people in it, or 7, and it was called Breathing Under Dirt. And we did it down in Delaware. And it was just wonderful that we all were together again. And what was wonderful is Beth and I were doing this, playing a mother-daughter, and it was in a tobacco farm. And we knew how to act with each other. We didn't have to rehearse. We just did it because she couldn't, as a matter of fact, she couldn't rehearse. She was doing something with her. She started a gym with, everyone working out all the time.
Yeah.
And she had to be there for something. So but I said, we don't have to worry. We know our lines and she and I can do it. And one night we did it. And this was so much fun. She's kneeling down, putting in plants in front of me, and I'm sitting on this chair, rocking back and forth. And all of a sudden, I picked up my line, and I went to her. I was Southern. I said, I don't know what to say next. And everyone thought it was part of the play, but her little head turns around and looks at me with these terrified eyes, and she goes, I think you were going to tell me about that phone call. I went, that's what I wanted. The phone hadn't even rung yet. And I said, that's exactly what I want to tell you, honey. I want to tell you about that phone call. So I went right into the phone call. And Michael, who wrote the play, and Grant, who had directed it, Philip and Rick, are sitting in the audience. And I guess they were terrified. But then they said, we knew the two of you would pull it off. We knew you would help. You knew what to do with each other. And so when we went to do it on a big stage, we won this big show, big prize in New York. And we went to do it in the South. And I told all the new cast that were young kids, I said, look, I'm in my 70s, you're all in your 20s and 30s. So if I forget a line, you tell me what it is. I never forgot one, but at least they were there to help me if I did need it.
Yeah, I totally understand, really.
So fun.
And it's funny. Yeah. And it's funny. You told a phone call. I offer Crystal some idea from me, and the idea is, you guys produce Vanish the series. In one scene, a phone ringing, and I am on the phone, and she say, "Ollie, not now. We shooting the show. Call back later." And it was just a little offer for her. Maybe she did it, maybe not. But it was a really fun idea,
Yeah, that's very cute. Yeah, that's very good.
And the producer, Carol is her name, I believe. I say Carol Lowe. I send emails with her all the time, and she's close with Crystal. And I told her too the idea, and she say, yeah, when the time is better and we can still better communicate, I will say, Crystal, your idea, and maybe we take it, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, I believe, you would imagine I call it and Crystal on the phone. No, Ollie, not now. We're shooting this Vanish series.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's so
that was really a great idea from me. That's true.
Yeah,
and
it is.
You say you're writing books, and that is a really interesting thing. You're an actress, and you became a writer. How has this happened? How whose idea was?
Well, I think actresses make up stories. I just put myself in the character's place, and you can get this book on Amazon. It's in English. It's Chasing Cleopatra.
Yeah, and, I have on my list.
Okay, it's really fun. I'd send it to you, but I don't know how to send it to you from here. I just sort of, I don't know, I put myself in each of the characters and I could know what they'd say just because, and when I wrote the play, I knew what they'd say too. I'd stand up and start talking because I knew what would be said. As an actress knows what's the next line is, I guess. I don't know. But it's been a really fun thing to do. And they're talking about a screenplay right now to make a movie of the first one. And I've written the second one.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Maybe your Guiding Light family can make their movie with you.
Well, it would be nice to have, I don't know who is right for it. I've been thinking about it a lot. But I just saw an email that came into on my box, and it said it's from the screenwriter who's writing it. And there's a producer who wants to do it, but and I said, I want to be in it in one scene. And I wrote a scene for someone my age so that I could be in it. And but the screenwriter agreed. He said, yeah, we've got to put you in it for sure. So it'll be fun if it happens. And I've written the sequel to it. And once you read it, you'll know why it needs a sequel. But I hate it. I don't like the sequel at all. So I wrote another book, and I'm going to make that the sequel. It just is 4 years later instead of 2 years later.
Wow, you take time to write the sequel. 4 years was a long time, to write. the sequel. You know, that's so.
No, I mean, it didn't take me
Okay.
long to write it.
Okay.
It's supposed to be 4 years later.
Ah,
The little
so
girl.
okay.
Yeah.
The West Guiding Light ending. I watch from you all the stuff. You know, when it's your series, Ellie with your book, and from what Crystal series. You know, and that is the
Yeah.
interesting part. You guys not away from my life, but I saw you in other production in other ways, and
Thanks.
that's
Yeah.
and it's really great, and it's really a huge family feeling, and I've
Yeah.
all the time I
And
have.
you're part of it. You're part of it, Ollie. No question. You know more about it, I think, than I do.
Tell me, I have two more left questions to the end.
Okay.
Tell me your best memory and your worst memory on Guiding Light.
I guess my worst memory was when Lillian was sitting by herself. I'm talking about the scenes we did, right? Lillian was sitting by herself with a cat watching Gone with the Wind, and I thought, this poor woman, you know, she doesn't have any guts. She doesn't fight for anything.
Okay,
And
I get it. What you mean? Yeah.
this was after Bradley had been put in jail, and she was alone all the time. And I think that was a very sad time for Lillian, and that would be my worst memory. My happiest memory might have been with Beverly McKinsey, because I loved working with Justin Dees.
Yeah.
Because he improvised all the time, and we'd just make things up, and that's what I like to do, is just let it happen. And he lets it happen, and he'd throw a line to me, and I'd throw it right back at him. And because we were out in New Jersey, they were filming anything we did, because they didn't have time to redo it, and we weren't in the studio. So we just got away with murder, and I just loved doing that. That was really my happiest time.
Have you ever write a script on Guiding Light, or are you apart from to write Lillian, the character? Were you able to writing the character?
No, the writers didn't want you to do it. I once gave them a storyline, which I think was genius, but they didn't buy it. And I mean, I just stayed away. They didn't want us with the writers very much, and I just respected that and let them do their job, and I did mine. No, I never did it, except when I told them that they couldn't have me kill my husband and go to jail.
Yeah.
But I did that to protect all those young girls who needed to tell their mothers, or needed to tell a teacher, or needed to tell someone what had happened to them.
And are you happy on the way that Lillian grows over the years, or say is one part is not so good?
Well, I didn't like when she was alone after, really alone, after Bradley left, and she was just all by herself, and there was no fun in her life, and Beth had run away. So that time was, and I liked what she was in the end, because all of a sudden she was me. She had a little more excitement in her life, and she did a few more things. And that's when I was with Buzz. I mean, Buzz and I together were just hilarious, and I loved that time.
And yeah, she had really some relationships over the years. What for you is the best, the best partner for Lillian? On you,
Buzz. No question. I loved him, and I loved acting with Mallet. I loved acting with Philip. I mean, I just adored them, but they were younger. But my favorite person was Buzz, because he was just outrageous, and I loved him being outrageous.
Yeah, I remember when he played his character, he was just a normal guy, just a guy that work and just live just a normal, not you in a hospital, so
Exactly.
And
then we both got let out.
Yeah, that's what was.
And we really did.
Yeah.
One time, we were doing something outdoors, and he said, let's go in the woods and start the scene coming out, buttoning up our clothes. So we did. And people were howling. They were clapping. Everybody wrote in about it and said, the best scene. Because, it was real, and it was older people doing this, which rarely happens. And all the older audience, I thought, oh, there's hope for me.
And the question what interested me really, how much fan mail you got on Guiding Light in a time? Maybe thousands of letters, or?
Yeah, I got a lot of mail, and I won a lot of awards in Italy. I won the Italian American Breast Cancer Society. So they flew me to Italy and gave me a wonderful time during the breast cancer. I got a lot of mail during breast cancer. And even now, I still get some of that. And I got mail. People loved Buzz and Lillian. I've got to send you Lily Buzz. Let me write that down.
I have not the last really question, but what you say to your German guiding light fans? I think that is the best.
I'm just so
best
grateful.
word, yeah.
I'm just so grateful that you love Guiding Light. I just wish I was over in Germany with you again, and I will be. I mean, Ollie, I will be in Germany again because I miss that country. I love it so much, and so does my husband. So our friend, unfortunately, in Dusseldorf died, or we would be visiting him. But I want to go back to Munich. I want to go everywhere again.
Tina, let me say thank you so much. It was an honor to speak with you. Thank you that you part of my podcast, really.
Okay, I loved Ollie, and I love the fan that you've been, and I love everybody that loved that Springfield story, right?
Ah, you say it, the Springfield story. In German, voll die Springfield story.
Right.
And the introducer on the opening say in German, und nun die Springfield story. In original was and now the guiding light. And the German part was und nun die Springfield story. Have a great day, and
you too.
we talk to
send me your address.
Yeah, I will. And I will broadcast the episode this week. I will send you the link over the email.
Okay.
And Tina, thank you so much, and
You.
take care of you, and say greets to your family for me.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Bye.